And we're continuing with the first chapter of The Whispering Mountain. Owen is being chased by 4 of the bullies, with the other 4 probably waiting to cut him off at the bridge. And we will pick up where the video cut out last time. Halfway down the road from Hereford. Halfway down the road from Hereford came in on the left. As he crossed the turning, Owen was obliged to swerve in order to avoid a hooded wagon which swung out of the side of the road and turned downhill toward the bridge. Grabbing to steady himself on the shaft, which had passed within 6 inches of his shoulder, Owen glanced up at the driver in apology. "I'm sorry, sir," he panted, and then, in utter astonishment, "Why, Mr. Dando!" "Eh? What's that? Who? Where?" The man in the box peered down at him absently. "Dando's my name, sure enough, but do I know you? Face seems familiar, certainly, but then, so many faces do. All faces much alike, I'm thinking. Still yours, yes. Seen it before somewhere. I do feel I have, but where now?" "Don't you remember? You took me up to the port of Southampton last summer, when I was starting out to walk to Wales, and carried me as far as Gloucester. Surely you recall?" Mr. Dando was still rubbing a hand through his long dark locks, making them stand on end while he muttered, "Perhaps, perhaps," when he was interrupted by the 3 pursuers, who arrived with a clatter of clogs and hurled themselves at Owen. For a moment all was confusion. Owen fought desperately, but his feet were knocked from under him, and he was being borne to the ground when a girl in a red dress put her head out of the back of the wagon. "What is it, father? What's happened? Why, Owen!" Big clumsy Mogg, hindered temporarily from his assault by the bodies of his 2 allies, looked up at the girl on the wagon, and gaped in astonishment at what he saw. Her dark hair was piled on top of her head in a knob, or a coronet, and perched upon this, as if it were the most natural thing in the world, was a large black and white bird with a curved Roman bill. When the girl saw what was happening, she exclaimed, "Scatter them, hawk!" in a voice that carried like a bell. Instantly the great bird launched himself off her head, rose, circled a couple of times high over the combatants, and then hurtled down on them in a whistling dive. He landed with a thump, striking his razor-sharp talons into the jacket of Waffa, who gave a shrill yell and ran for his life. The falcon loosed him at another command from the girl, and returned to pounce on Luggins, scoring a set of deep parallel tracks through his tow-colored hair. Completely terrified at this unexpected pain and the fierce clutching weight on his head, Luggins let go of Owen, whom he was slowly throttling, and tried to shake off the falcon. Mogg, seeing the battle was lost, had already made his escape. Luggins stumbled after him, calling out desperately, "Mogg! Mogg, don't leave me! Get this brute off me, boy!" Mogg made not the slightest effort to help, but at another whistle from his mistress, Hawk released the punishing grip on Luggins's scalp, and came oaring back through the rainy night, to take up his perch once more on the girl's crown of hair. She had jumped off the wagon and was hugging Owen, who could hardly believe his eyes. "Erebus! What are you and your father doing in these parts?" "Owen, are you all right?" "Yes, they had hardly started on me, thanks to Hawk." He settled his glasses, which were dangling from one ear but miraculously unbroken, back on his nose. "But how do you come to be here?" "I asked Dada to come through by Pennygraph on purpose, so that there would be a chance of seeing you, maybe, on our way to the fair at Devil's Leap. Nadagadoo, we are. But how is it with you, Owen Buck? Dear goodness, how you've grown. Taller than me now. Did you find your grandfather all right? Are you happy with you? Who are those brutes?" "Boys from my school." "Fine sort of school? Why were they after you?" "Oh, just because I am a stranger here." Owen glanced down the hill. His enemies had dispersed. For the moment, at least, he was saved. "There's silly, and your father and Grandad born here. Gracious, how it rains. Come inside the wagon. Galahad won't mind another load, will he, Dada? I'm sure Owen doesn't weigh any more than he did last summer. Thin as a withy he is still." "Galahad?"